Welcome to Taking Healthy Back with Maria, with your host, Maria Malik, experience coach, conscience educator, and destination retreat host, presents to you countless ways to overcome an overwhelmed, overprocessed, and over-medicated lifestyle. She'll be covering everything wellness, from getting more from life than you put into it, destination retreats to healthy cooking and conscious education. So please welcome the host of Taking Healthy Back with Maria.
Welcome, everybody, to Taking Healthy Back with Maria. I'm your host, Maria Malik, and I have another fun show today, Wellness on Wheels, Thriving in Motion. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to embrace freedom and thrive on the open road? We're sitting down today with health coach couple living full-time in their RV, discovering how they've built a life of purpose, health, and adventure while navigating the challenges of mobile living. We hope this will inspire you to own your unique path to wholeness. Welcome, Frank and Becky Lewis.
Thank you.
Hi.
We're happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
I'm really excited. I want to share with everyone how we met, because I believe everything is a divine appointment. And last summer, I was driving across the country from Florida to New Mexico. And the first stop we made was in Mississippi. And, randomly picking an RV site. And we ended up bunking next to you guys. And of course, because I talk to everyone, we're all having our morning coffee and, sharing our trips and whatnot. And I'm like, hey, what do you guys do? And you're like, we're health coaches. And I'm like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Of all the sites we could have been next to, we got next to you. So I'm really excited. Our meeting was brief, yet memorable. And, we have so much in common. So I'm really happy to have you here, even though, we met for an hour or whatever. So welcome to my show. Happy to have you.
We're so
happy
glad
to
we're
be
here.
Yeah.
So, let's just get into it. What was the turning point that made both of you decide to leave your full-time careers and start traveling full-time in your RV?
Go ahead, Frank.
You want me to go?
Sure.
We had always toyed around with the idea. It was kind of a progression, though. I think the wheels started turning, literally.
Literally.
Yeah,
No pun intended.
Prior to COVID, we were in a spot. We have 3 daughters. 2 of them are grown, and 1 travels with us. But our oldest 2 were in college, and we had a nice house in the city and did all the things, keeping up with the Joneses, this, that, and the other. And we had an opportunity to move from Memphis, Tennessee area into Mississippi, where we could get in-state tuition and be able to use that for our daughters, or be able to get in-state tuition. So we moved to Mississippi. So that kind of got that part of the process in motion of us kind of downsizing from a 3,500 square foot home, starting to minimalize, getting rid of junk that we didn't need.
Yeah.
And so it kind of set that in motion. Then guess what happened? COVID came along.
Mm-hmm.
That was in 2019 when we moved down there. Then COVID obviously hit. During COVID, Becky was a busy nursing home administrator. And so I'll kind of let you take over. Like that's, she was working and stressed, especially during those times.
Yeah. So just working a lot, spending more time at work than with my family. Even when I was at home, spending more time working with messages and calls than with my family. And so after a while, it takes a toll on you, and you realize that, having the 6-figure income or the big house or the company car or whatever all the things are that you've done, it's just maybe not worth it. And so had gained weight during that time because of COVID and working so much and not eating healthy meals. And so I was ready for change and just wanted to start a program that I saw a friend that had posted about, and she had had 5 kids and lost some weight, kept it off. And so I reached out, found out about our program, lost 30 pounds in 12 weeks. Frank didn't want me to do it. Bored. He did it too, lost 60 pounds in about 3.5 months.
Well,
About 4
months.
months. And so that's kind of how it all got started. We started changing, and we see it as a personal growth opportunity more so than just pounds. And so that's kind of where something started. We can elaborate more on that story as we go along, but that's really what started it, was wanting a change on the outside, which really led to a change on the inside.
Right. So
two kind of started morphing together, like the wanting to kind of get out of that routine of the daily grind. So, and taking our health back. And like Becky said, we did start stacking new habits basically, and it just kind of snowballed. And, it's kind of led us to where we are today.
Well, then that leads me to the question, what does healthy mean to you?
Wow.
Healthy means a lot as far as healthy mind, healthy body, healthy finances, healthy spiritually. I mean, healthy means a lot. And I think that when you get one piece of it in motion and one piece of it going, the rest, it's kind of like domino effect or ripple effect. The rest just kind of goes from there. So healthy to me means getting one area in check, and then the rest can't help but follow.
Right. I love that. Now, Frank, I think you're okay with talking about this. I know you celebrated an anniversary recently. Was that a pivotal part in your recovery and your health goals?
Absolutely. But it was kind of all about that habit stacking. But part of the way our program works is, we get healthy. Obviously, I lost 60 pounds in that 4-month time frame, and people notice, obviously. And, people reach out and ask what we're doing. And that's when we share our program with people. And as health coaches, I had a drinking problem that I struggled with for 25 plus years of my life. And I was highly functioning. I was a successful business owner. I had a construction company, but I drank daily. And I kind of had that man in the mirror moment where I had to take a close look at myself. And if I'm going to guide people to better health, I need to guide myself to better health. And so that's when I told Becky, I said, I've got a problem. I need to do something about it. She didn't really even know about it. And
yeah, he was that high functioning, because I would come home from work and he would be drinking a beer or a glass of wine, and I thought maybe he had just had his first wine or beer, but little did I know he was drinking sometimes early in the morning before he took our daughter to school. And so that was all a result of the unhealthy habits that we developed because of COVID. And it just got worse and worse. And so when he told me about his problem and that he was going to check himself into rehab, which is what he did, I actually stopped drinking the day before he did, because he checked into rehab and drank all the way to the place. And, there I was. I thought
really?
to myself, yeah, he really did. I mean, he had a high alcohol level when we got there, because they do that when you get there. And, he thought he was going to get the last hoorah, I guess. But, I stopped the day before because I thought, if I'm going to, I've got to not drink alcohol either. And I could live my life without it. And so I've been sober for 1 day longer than he has.
Yeah. Oh, wow. And that's a couple of years now, right?
Yeah, we're working on 2.5 years.
Yeah.
So it wasn't necessarily a hoorah. It was more, and that's why I knew I needed to go to a facility. It was not because I was mentally crazy, which I don't know, that's debatable. But I knew that I needed to medically detox safely, because I had tried to quit myself, and it wouldn't work. Just like shakes and anxiety and all that kind of stuff. And I that's why I knew it's gotten to this point where if I don't have a drink, I start feeling all those side effects, and that's when it got scary for me, and I knew that I needed to do something.
So he had the support of the doctors and the team there to, detox there just for those 4 days. And then, of course, when they sent him home, they tried to send him home with different medications to help, which he did not do, because we know that does not, in the long run, help. It can only make an addiction worse. And so after he left, we went to where he wanted to eat that day for lunch, which is another whole sad story, but we went to where he wanted to eat for lunch and never filled any of the prescriptions they tried to give him. And we just went on about our day. We had made up in our mind that we weren't going to touch alcohol again. And that's how it's been for us.
Yeah.
I really love your vulnerability, and thank you for sharing. I think a lot of times for people like us in this industry, people see us now, who we've become, and they don't see what we've overcome or all that we had to get through to get here. And I'll just share a story briefly. One time I was out somewhere and I bumped into a woman I knew, and she threw $100 bill at me, and she says, "I want what you have." And that was really interesting and kind of pivotal for me too, because I realized that people see the finished product and they don't know what we go through to get there. And oftentimes it's painful, not always. And I really applaud you guys for what you're doing. Now, is this what led you to become health coaches, or was it the program you were on to lose weight? Can you tell us about that? And maybe someone here would be interested in your program.
Yeah.
I'll start. It was the opposite. We started our health program, we lost our weight, and then, like Frank said, he realized that if he was going to help others, he would need to make some deeper changes than losing weight. But so we guide people now on our same program that we followed. We help about 30 to 50 people a month regain their health by changing habits. And our program follow, we do get to eat. So it's all natural. It's not anything, it's not a medically supported weight loss or anything that's processed, anything like that. However, we do help people that are on medically supported weight loss. If that's what they choose to start their journey, we can help them and then kind of transition them into eating whole foods again. But it is a result, us changing these habits. It's all just combined together. And so maybe Frank can take it from there.
Yeah, and I think real quick, for medically supported weight loss, I want to make it clear that our program is backed by medical and scientific research. So it's not just, somebody in this garage came up with this, but, for those listening that might not know what medically supported weight loss is, that's the shots that people are doing now and that type of thing. And,
don't even get me started. Don't even get me started on that.
But, I think the main thing is I don't ever want to knock anyone that has realized they need to do something as it pertains to their health. While I don't agree with that form, everybody these days wants a quick fix, and your health it's a lifelong journey. You mentioned something like people seeing us where we are now. Like, I'm going to continue to evolve, and that's what our health is. It's a constant evolution of pursuing our best health. And that's what we want to offer to people. And if we can provide a tool for these people, whatever form of weight loss you're choosing, if we can step in and help, share what we've learned and be a guide, then that's what our job is. And that's what we're here to do.
And that's one reason why we share so much. We share a lot, and we primarily Facebook as our source of sharing. And we share our story because we never know who's looking. Frank shares a lot about sobriety, and he's had a lot of people reach out that, honestly, we were kind of shocked when they reached out, when they said, "I have a problem too, and your story has inspired me. Thank you." And so that's how we do it. And so we do the same thing with our our journey and our health journey and our story there. We share about how, I share how I was tired of my pants not buttoning all the way. And one of my friends describes it as soon as she would unbutton her pants for the day, she felt like the Pillsbury biscuit can, because it was, and so I felt like that too. So sometimes we use that and we share things like that via Facebook to say, this is how I felt. This is what I found, and this is how I solved it. Let me help you too. And so it really does speak to people to let them know that we found something that worked, a solution to the problem, and we're here to share it. And we can just tell them about our program, and if they're interested and they want to do it, that's fine. If not, they may try something else and come back a year later. But we do find that it all kind of goes together. Once you want to change one area of your life, it just dominoes.
Well, and I think it's important too for people to realize it's okay to I think part of the things with any form of addiction, is that fear of I'm the only one experiencing what I'm going through. People are going to judge me. And I think that's why we share so much. We put it out there and we show our vulnerability so that people that's how people identify with you. And it's calming to know that, hey, I'm not alone in what I'm going through, and other people are dealing with these things, and we can help show up and, be hopefully a solution for people.
Well, it sounds like to me, most people are coming initially for the weight loss thing. And honestly, the more people I talk to, they're not equating their weight issues with their unresolved emotional issues or things that they've experienced. So it sounds to me like they're coming for the weight loss thing, and then they're connecting the dots to all the things that got them there, right?
Right. And in fact, we like to call our program a personal growth company with a weight loss component, because we really dig deep and we find things about ourselves that got us to where we are. Why did we eat so much, or why did we drink so much, or why have we ignored being friends with those people? So, you really dig
It's like peeling
deep.
the layers of an onion back, it's like, people come to us and all the time, and it's like, I want to be skinny by my 40th birthday, or I want to fit in a bathing suit in April. And while that's fine, those are surface level goals. If you want to dig a little deeper and see, what's the real core, issue here? What's going on? I think in our society today, it's so easily and so readily available to us to be unhealthy. It's on every street corner. It's everywhere you go. And, we're in this, like we just talked about, everybody wants that quick fix. Well, I'm hungry. Okay, well, here's a quick solution right here. I can go get fast food, and it's probably going to taste great. But probably 30 minutes later, I'm probably going to feel like crap, and it's not going to get me closer to my health goals, but it provided that quick fix, and it, kind of repeats itself. And it's hard to get people, from that mindset to kind of shift to healthier choices.
Well, can you give me an example? Sorry about that, Becky. Did you want to add something?
But when it clicks, it clicks. And when somebody gets it, it's all smooth sailing from there when they do realize that it's not a quick fix. It is a lifestyle.
I have a saying that I say all the time: your desire to change needs to be greater than your desire to stay the same.
Yes.
Yep.
Can you offer some examples? And I know some addictions are harder than others. Some become, physically addictive, but some tip that you help people with in that moment, like I'm hungry, but and there's a corner store and I could pick up a quick fix, knowing that it's not going to be the right choice. I myself decide not to do those bad choices and say, well, it's only 30 minutes till I get home. I can wait. What are some tricks? Because it really is about tricking your mind a little bit, because your mind is directing you
Sure.
can you give a quick little tip or something on how to help someone combat that in the moment weakness?
Sure. So I say start by being prepared. So we teach people, we eat
Yes.
several times throughout the day. And so that's one of the things with our program that we teach is getting your metabolism working and eating small protein
Mhm.
packed throughout the day. So being prepared and having some of those items in your car, in your purse, wherever you're going, grabbing a couple things that you can eat. And then that way you don't have to stop at the convenience store to get the expensive, unhealthy item. But really being prepared would be one of my first tips. Right?
Yeah. One thing I try to encourage people is we call it stop, like just pause, challenge, and choose. Like you always like we have the ability to like pause and assess the situation. Like, hey, I'm starving. I can go over here and get this burger and fries. Okay, well, challenge yourself. Is that really what I need? Do I need to go spend $15 on this fast food meal? Probably not.
Right?
You know, challenge yourself. Is that going to help me further get closer to my goals or further away from 'em? And then you have a choice. Like it's ultimately your choice. Yes, I mean we all have the capacity to make that decision, and like so we just want to encourage people to like you said, like you've got to be willing to want to make that change. And one thing I'll read real quick, and I'll briefly mention our educational components. We have some great education, but Dr. Anderson, who founded our company, I just want to read this. Is one of the biggest and most powerful realizations we can ever have is to know that our life path is not fixed. The way you think, the way you act, the people you spend time with, and even the world you live in can all be changed. All things are possible. You have the capability over time, with specific focus, guidance, and practice, to become the dominant force in your life. And
Mm.
what we try to encourage people to do is become that dominant force in your life. Like all the stuff that goes on around you daily, you have the ability to choose how you react to that. And, I mean, we can't make people do anything. That's the hardest part we've learned in this, but we can be there to encourage and support.
And I'll add to that with our program, another thing to really help people to not make that bad choice besides being prepared is having the help of a coach. And that's why we're so successful with coaching others. We have been through the same problems. We've been through the program. So we can guide we're really just a guide. And when people lean into us as their coach and they take our weekly call and they get into the community portion of our program that we have, which is a private Facebook group, and the education that Point showed you, when they lean into all of those components, they really learn the most and they can change the most and morph into the best version of themselves. And I always compare it to the four tires on a car. If the four tires of the car's your vehicle gets you from point A to point B. And so we have four components on our program. And if you're not using all four components, it's almost like having one flat tire. You can't get very far. But when you use all four of those components of our program, it really is the vehicle to take you where it is that you want to be, no matter what that why is, what that goal is. And so really having help. So many people want to try it on their own. And sometimes that just doesn't work. If you could do it on your own, we'd all be there. We'd all be healthy. We'd all be at a perfect goal weight or at a perfect place in our life. And so sometimes we all just need a little help, and that's what we're here for.
Yeah. And for me at this point in my life, the pain of regret is not worth sacrificing my goals in the present moment. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh, why did I do that? I don't want to get to that point anymore. So that's beautiful. Tell me, and I know the answer, but my audience doesn't. Where does God fit into all this?
He's in charge of it all, quite honestly. And, I will say that I did mention spirituality being one of the things that ripple effects from this program. And before this program, honestly, Frank and I weren't going to church together. I would go to church by myself. Frank would say, "Oh, the golf course is my church," or he would just not go with me. I'd go by myself. I'd take my children. I'd go to church. And so one of the components of this program has led him back to church with me. And so one of the things that we enjoy doing now is going to church, being active. One of the fun things that we're doing on the road, and we are Catholic, but we're not opposed to going to any other churches either. And sometimes we do that. We don't have the option to go to a Catholic church. But one of the fun things we're doing on the road is every different city we're in, we go to a different church. So every Sunday, I'm making some sort of a post to our audience to let them know this is our church of choice this week. This Mass is brought to you by, and I'll show a picture of us at church. And we've had so many people reach out and say that they love that part of our journey. They love seeing where we're going to end up. And so God fits in because we've now realized that, he is the ultimate one, that we may not know why we're here, why we're supposed to be here, and you may not know right now, but God knows. And so every day, if a different challenge comes our way, and we're just like, our reading that we read today was about Jesus taking the wheel, and it's so true. He's in control. And the reading today, just to further elaborate, it was about a pilot, and it said, imagine you're on an airplane, and the pilot comes back and sits next to you and says, "You know what, Frank? I want you to fly the plane today. I'm just going to sit back and relax and get that free Coke and those peanuts, and I want you to take the plane." What would you do? You'd say, "Oh my gosh, I don't know how to drive the plane."
It'll be all right.
Frank thinks he'd be okay. He's done enough video games to know how to fly. But a regular other person would be scared to death and say, "Oh my gosh, I can't drive a plane. There's no way I can do it." And so we have to relate that to our life. God is the pilot. He's in control. However, we have to participate. And so sometimes the plane will go through a storm, but sometimes it avoids a storm, and you don't know what storm it's avoiding. And so that's what our reading is about today. And we read a little reading every morning together. We go to church together, and God just fits in perfectly.
Well, I think it's something that we talk about, especially, with recovery and stuff like that, and in AA and that sort of thing is, when you realize that there's a God or a universe or whatever that power is in your life, and you fully embrace that and accept that in your life, that's when all things kind of fall into place. And, I think a lot of people spend their life trying to fill that empty void in their life with other things: food, alcohol, sex, drugs, rock and roll, whatever it is, to fulfill that need. But I think the one true answer is God fills that void in your life and gives you that path, that purpose, that freedom of and peace of knowing, like, I don't have to have it all figured out.
Right.
I don't have to be in control of everything. And I think that's the biggest thing that I've come to terms with. It's like, I don't have to be in control of every situation.
Right.
I don't want that responsibility, And so when you can kind of give it all away, and it's just like that weight, when I admitted that I needed that help, that weight just came off of my shoulders, and it was like I felt free, and just like the peace came over me. And that's what we talk about, healthy body, healthy mind. Like, everything goes together, and when you can kind of have that harmony, everything kind of fits into place. And you can't have that if you don't have
right,
like that.
Right. You guys, we have a commercial break, but we'll be right back. And I'd like to pick up where we just left off, because I'd like to make a comment on what you said. So we'll be right back. Stay with us.
I think sometimes we do the things that we didn't have. So I didn't have that when I was setting my business. And I didn't have people telling me, hey, oh, this is a hole that you have, and here's some people that can help fill that hole. You don't have to do everything yourself. You don't have to.
Right.
But we're not meant to do it ourselves as business people either.
Okay, and that's a question that I have also. And I was raised to be a housewife, and I wasn't raised to have a career. And I don't know how many other women my age or, various ages were groomed in that way. And at this point in my life, I don't really want to start a career. Are there women in the group who are not business entrepreneur oriented, that are a part of the group just to help them, I don't want to say find themselves, but really be okay with where they are and not pursuing these big dreams? Because there's a big push out there for women to be these, hardcore, powerful women, empowered, which I want women to be empowered, but I don't believe everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur. Are there women in the group who just want to be women or moms, or just be okay with where they are and give themselves permission? Does that all make sense?
It makes perfect sense. And I'm going to say this, and just expand it a little, because I feel like all of us need to be okay with where we are. Yeah. But we have some people that are in a different season, right? And so we have some people that are, some people call it empty nesters or whatever, little titles that we have to it. Right. And that's a very special season that needs to be nurtured and understood. But what I say to people that tell me, well, and I had a couple of women, it was really beautiful conversation we had on our last retreat, as a matter of fact. And some had said, I'm in this stage, I've already had a business, I've done a business, I've sold my business, or I left the business, or I retired.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. We're with Frank and Becky Lewis, a wonderful health coach couple who are living on the road. We were just talking about God and how he plays a part in our journey. And what I have found is the people who say, well, I don't believe in God, or there's no evidence of God in their life. And I believe a lot of people are thinking about this man in the sky or this invisible thing. And God uses us, he uses each other. And when you are showing your love and your care and you're ministering to people, that is God, in my opinion. And it's a beautiful thing. I love what you talked about church and meeting all these people, because really you're just spreading more of God around through your ministry. How are people receiving the spirituality aspect? Do you have more of a pushback on it in your program, or are people finally like, oh my gosh, this is what I was looking for?
Usually people say that this is what they're looking for. And, just to even give another example, within our coaching community, we as coaches, we get together often, and it's usually via Zoom because we're all over the country. But sometimes it's in person, like tomorrow. We're actually going to be in the Phoenix, Scottsdale area with probably about 500 of our fellow coaches for an event. But when we're on some of our Zoom calls, we'll stop sometimes and we'll say, pick a square. Everybody pick somebody and say a quick prayer for the other. Or little things like that. And so we definitely bring up spirituality, and we bring up God. And, sometimes when we're at events, and we're often at events on the weekend, Frank and I will find a time to go to church when we're there, and we'll invite others to go with us. And, maybe just talk about God like that. But sometimes it doesn't always come up, but when it does, it's not anything that we're not able to talk about. People usually say that they know God has a plan, and that God led them to this program, and that they're so thankful for it. And we all agree that it definitely can be a spiritual changer.
Can you share a memorable experience or connection you've made with someone during your travels that's had a lasting impact, whether on them or yourself?
Let's see.
Yeah.
We've been to so many places. Yeah, meeting you was a good one.
As brief as it was, like you said, it's those, whether it be brief or, however long, it's the connection. Like this one church that we go to, it's not the Catholic church. it's a small church where our daughter's active in the youth group, and we just wanted to have her have that social interaction um, on a monitored level. Um, he says the two most important things in this world are God and people. And, it's the interactions with, we've met incredible people throughout these travels that from all walks of life, different backgrounds, um, different cultures, different countries, but we're all, I think, like you said, we're all here to serve one another and serve a purpose. And it's just, there's been countless interactions we've had that they're all memorable. There's not just one that necessarily stands out.
But I can give an example maybe of a connection and how we're continuing that friendship. We met a family. We were in the Gulf Shores area for about a month, and we met a family there that's back from our hometown, and that's how we realized, to connect with them. Their license plate was our license plate, so we were like, wow, they're from Marshall County. We need to meet them. And so we met them and just talked to them for a little while. And then the next day they invited us to go out on their boat out in the Gulf, and we did. And we had an adventurous day. They had two boys that were around our daughter's age, and so they all got to connect and play together. And to this day, actually, Frank was talking with him this morning, and so she's opened a coffee shop back at our hometown, and I've been connecting with her about the coffee shop, and we've just connected back and forth about different little things. And so when you meet people like that, we're all in the same pursuit of something a little bit different and something a little bit adventurous. And so we've connected with them. And so there's just been, like Frank said, countless people. Even at that same park we met you at, we met another family that had a daughter our same age. And that particular night, Frank and myself and the parents, we played cornhole while the girls walked around and talked. And then later that evening, after we all ate our dinners, we went to their spot and we had our campfire. So we got to sit around the fire, make s'mores, and just have that connection.
Well, and even to that point, at that same park, there was a bus of teenage, I guess older than teenage, but young, probably early 20s, probably college-age kids. They were all from England. And they had come over to the States and rented an RV, and we're going to drive from Orlando to, I think, Las Vegas. Yeah. And so it's just having those interactions and encounters with just like all walks of people that leave a lasting imprint.
And we were there. Remember, we were there when there was the hurricane coming through. So everybody was trying to get out of that Mississippi area quickly because of the hurricane. And we actually thought that they were a bus full of college students, maybe from New Orleans, trying to avoid the hurricane. So we asked them, hey, what are y'all doing? And they told us who they were, from England, like Frank said, but they were headed to New Orleans. And we said, oh, you might want to rethink that. There's a hurricane coming to New Orleans. So they did because of us. And so we reached out and we just tried to have that connection. And that's what we love about what we do. We try to connect with people. We could have, not said anything to you, but we're so much alike. We both said something to each other. So
we saved them from and probably drinking too many hurricanes.
Yeah.
Okay, your program, I love this program that you have, and I don't know anything about it, but if someone is interested, what kind of a commitment is it? Are there different levels? Can you just come in, get your feet wet? Do you have to make a year commitment? What kind of a fight? Can you talk about a little about a financial commitment? Just, like a snippet, and then we can give your contact information and then people can contact you directly.
So yeah, there's no commitments. It is a case-by-case basis on if you do order something through our company monthly, if you choose to continue to follow the program after your first month. But there is no commitment. And so we always tell people, give it a month and see what happens in 30 days. In fact, I went live in our private group today about what can happen in 30 days, because in my first 30 days, I lost 15 pounds on our program. Wow. And then I went on to lose the 30 in the 3 months. So, we always say, give it a 30-day commitment and see what happens. I guarantee you after 30 days, you won't be upset that you decided to say yes to yourself and try this program. But, as far as financial commitment, we have 13 different programs, 12 to 13
Oh, wow.
programs within our program. We have a program for nursing moms. We have a program for teenagers, which we've personally helped a few teenagers whose parents reached out to us because their teenagers were getting bullied at school because of their weight. And they knew that we could probably help. So we do have a program for teenagers. We have a program for those that have gout. We have those that have diabetes, those that are active, those that need to lose 100 pounds. We have all these different programs. And so it's really best to reach out to us first so that we can find out what your goals are. We do a health assessment where we ask some questions to see which of our programs would be best for you. And then we can go from there to see, what budget you kind of have to work with, because we can do a 2-week trial or a full month's worth of our program. And so the coaching comes for free. We're coaches as soon as you do say yes to the program. And one of our coaching partners, she's real cute, and she always likes to say, "I come for free in the box." Once you get your box of our fuelings, which is what we fuel ourselves with, she says, "I come for free in the box." And so that's maybe my take on it. Would you like to say anything else, Frank?
Yeah, there's no commitment to anything. Obviously, on average, 10 to 12 pounds a month is kind of the average weight loss that you can expect when on the program. But, kind of more into the details of how the program works, we get people into a fat burn state. And for those that don't know, like, there's full-blown ketosis, and then there's mild kind of ketosis, and that's what we get into. But you are actually in a fat burning state on our most popular program, and that's where you are at a calorie deficit, but you're also fueling your body frequently throughout the course of the day, and that's what melts away all that visceral fat that surrounds our organs and mostly our bellies. But and that's why it's so effective. And I think it's important for people to realize that, like we've said before, there is no finish line. But what we use for the weight loss phase is strictly a tool. It's a tool to get you to a desired weight or a healthy BMI quickly and safely. And then our whole goal as coaches is to get you through transition and into maintenance or optimization. And that's where transition takes about a month. But that's where we bring whole food groups back into your diet, some of the stuff you're not having in the weight loss phase. And we monitor how that process goes. For us, dairy throws us off track, so we don't have near as much dairy as we used to. But for someone, it may be fruit. A lot of people think fruit's great for you, and it is. But some fruits, they're higher glycemic because the way the carbs break down into some sugars and stuff. So and that's what people struggle with, is that education. You hear like fruit's so good for you, but if you're trying to lose weight, it may not be the best thing for you. And so we teach people that process, and we want people living a vibrant life, going out with their friends, having delicious meals, doing all these things and being social and active. But we want to equip people with the proper tools to be able to go out and make those healthy choices for the rest of their life. And that's really what we're all about, is getting the weight off, doing it safely, doing it quickly, but then equipping you with the tools long term to go out, eat the healthy food, make those healthy choices, for the rest of your life.
Right. And I know that when you start feeling good about, being comfortable in your body, then other things start feeling better. But if you don't feel good in your body, or you can't get out of bed, then you can't make those other healthy choices, even if you want to. So sounds like such a sound approach and so logical. Where can people contact you? What's the name of the program, and where can people contact you to inquire if it's for them?
Sure. So the name of the program, we sometimes don't say, just because we don't want people to go to the website. So we're perfectly fine saying it on the podcast, but just know this: when you go to our website, you'll automatically get assigned a random coach. And that coach may be a good coach, but
They're not us.
They're not us, and we do.
Well,
we
then
do.
what's your contact directly, or however you want to do it?
We have a link that we can definitely provide so that it goes directly to our site that offers information about our program. But we want to make sure that having a coach that really does, and this is our full-time job, so we really support our clients well. We've been recognized for that. We love what we do, as you can tell, and so we want to make sure you do get the right coach. It's so important. But we do want to, share that. I was going to say one more thing as far as the community portion of our page and our education. These are all things that other programs just don't offer. And so one thing that I loved about our program was the community portion of our page and how we found the community that we found, and it was something we didn't even know we were missing in our life, but now we've become such good friends with all of these like-minded people. And so that is something that our program offers. In addition to us as coaches, you get a whole community of support. And so we co-coach. So sometimes you don't just get us, sometimes you get our coaches helping. And on that same subject, some of our coaching partners have had their weight off for 13 years now and have not gained it back because of what our program teaches, and 9 years for another group of our coaching partners. So we're at 3 years, and I just feel like, I want to share. That's one of the things I really want to share with people is that it's not just a matter of going to a website and buying into anything to change. We are part of the solution. And I don't know what
I think she gave you the typical politician skirt around the question and answer there. No, our company, it used to be Medifast. Medifast was created in 1980.
I've heard of that.
It was for doctors only to prescribe to patients that.
That's Dr. Anderson, the co-founder of our company.
Okay.
So Medifast was for doctors for patients that needed a surgery, like whatever, knee replacement or hip replacement, whatever, but because of their weight were unable to have that surgery. Okay. And so this was designed for those type of patients that needed quick, effective weight loss to have a medical procedure done. Well, Dr. Anderson, he was a cardiac anesthesiologist.
Top in his class, but he was tired of patients coming in with their organs failing, heart disease, whatever, and tired of throwing medicine at them and sending them out the door. And he's like, I got into medicine to heal people, not throw medicine at them. So he got with Medifast and the doctors and scientists that had created that. And then he got with Johns Hopkins and formulated the fuelings that we use. And that's when he created Optavia. So Optavia is the name of our company.
Okay.
And like Becky said, like anything, you can read. There's so many things out there available. Mm-hmm. So many programs, so many plans. But I really feel like what separates us is having a good coach, mm-hmm. Having that community, and having the education. And those are all the tools that lead to your success. And I think, personally, I hate to see it because you can have bad press about anything. You know what I mean? And what it breaks my heart to see negative comments about our program, because a lot of what you'll see if you go and Google something is you'll see, I lost weight, but I gained it all back.
So It was the coaching, it was the support that people needed to sustain their results.
And a lot of it, what's huge about our program, the weight loss works, period. We've never seen it not work. But the key is going through that transition into the maintenance or into the optimization phase. And that's where the real magic happens. That's when it becomes not a diet. You've adopted this lifestyle, and and that's why us as the coach, having those components, those 4 wheels or tires in the car, inflated that she's talking about, that's where that's so important. But to answer your question, so Optavia is our company. We have a link that we can share somehow that goes
Sure.
directly to
I'll
our
put it
page.
in the description when I share the video.
But we
But
will
you guys,
have,
I don't want to interrupt you, but we're actually out of time.
sure.
And so, maybe we've created a little curiosity. I think I want to talk to you more, Becky, myself,
Okay, good.
on another issue, whatever, but we'll do that offline. I'll contact you. But thank you so much. You guys are lovely. Yes,
Can I just say one more thing? We're always
sure.
looking for more people to help us. We're looking for more like-minded people that want to help others on our program. And there is an opportunity for others. So if you're watching this and you're wanting more, you want to help people, you want to get paid to stay healthy, talk to us about that alone. So I wanted to put a plug in that we need more help. There's so many people in our world that are obese that need our program.
Okay, I could be that person.
There you go.
But you guys are so lovely. I liked you the moment I met you, and I'm really grateful to God for bringing us together because we need more people like you, like us, and I can't believe we're out of time already. It went so fast. And thank you so much for being on. And also, folks, I have which could be kind of a precursor, a 5-step framework that I like to introduce people to even just change their mind, or, let them know they're ready, or what exactly needs attention. So feel better with less work, seriously, is that document that I could send anybody. But Becky, Frank, let's continue the conversation. We have so much in common, and we have a common goal, with, so
Absolutely.
thank you so much. And we'll see you next time, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye-bye.
This has been Taking Healthy Back with your host, Maria. Tune in each week as Maria will empower you to put your wellness in your control, right here, Fridays, noon Eastern, on the Bold Brave TV network.